Welcome back, fellow connoisseurs of the absurd and purveyors of the preposterous. Today we dive into the latest episode of the long-running political sitcom that is the Trump presidency. In this week's installment, a federal appeals court has decided to thwart President Donald Trump's penchant for abrupt and capricious firings, a move that has the White House fuming and the rest of us reaching for our popcorn. In a plot twist worthy of a courtroom drama, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit decided en banc, because why not make it sound fancy and important, to reinstate two federal board members who were unceremoniously axed by our commander-in-chief. The protagonists of this legal saga are Gwyn Wilcox and Kathy Harris, both victims of the Trump administration's relentless drive to reshape federal boards in its own image. Clearly, the president mistook "you're fired" as the cornerstone of governance. The court's decision, which came in at a nail-biting 7-4 vote, invoked the spirit of Supreme Court precedents like Humphrey's Executor and Wiener versus United States. Yes, folks, the legal eagles have spoken, reminding us that even in the era of alternative facts, some rules still matter. Apparently, the concept of multi-member adjudicatory boards still holds water, despite Trump's best efforts to turn the government into a one-man show. As expected, the Trump administration is not taking this legal setback lying down. They're already sharpening their quills, or tweeting thumbs, to draft an appeal to the Supreme Court. After all, why let a little thing like legal precedent stand in the way of a good firing? Adding to the intrigue, the appeals court also rejected the administration's desperate plea for an administrative stay, which would have kept the firings in place while the legal saga unfolded. The judges, in their infinite wisdom, decided that the administration's case lacked the necessary oomph, or as they put it, a strong likelihood of success on the merits. In layman's terms, it seems the Trump team needs to work on their argumentation skills. This decision overturns a previous ruling by a mere 3-judge panel, which had sided with Trump in allowing the firings to proceed. But in a dramatic encore, the en banc court decided it was time for a grander stage and a more comprehensive judgment. Naturally, this will not sit well with the president and his entourage, who are likely to label the judges as activists, an epithet that, in Trumpian parlance, means people who disagree with me. Speaking of activism, the Trump administration's marathon of executive orders continues unabated. With over 300 orders signed, one might think Trump is trying to set a new world record. Among these decrees is the creation of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, a name that sounds more like a meme-inspired cryptocurrency than a governmental body. Critics argue that this flurry of executive actions deserves more scrutiny, but in Trump's America, who has time for careful consideration when there's a government to dismantle? Of course, this latest court ruling is bound to spark another round of legal battles and appeals. It's a bit like watching a legal version of Groundhog Day, with the Trump administration perpetually stuck in a loop of lawsuits and appeals. And yet, here we are, eagerly tuning in for the next episode. Before we move on, a quick shout out to our viewers. If you enjoy these satirical takes on the political theater of our times, consider subscribing to our channel. Hit that like button, share with your friends, and drop a comment below. We promise not to fire anyone for expressing their opinions, unlike some people we know. So, dear viewers, what do you think about the court's decision to reinstate the board members? Are we witnessing the last vestiges of judicial sanity, or is this just another scene in the ongoing circus? Share your thoughts in the comments, unless you're too busy signing your own executive orders, in which case, carry on. And there you have it, folks. A day in the life of the Trump administration, where the only certainty is uncertainty itself. As the wheels of justice turn ever so slowly, one can only wonder what the next act in this political theater will bring. Until then, stay tuned, stay skeptical, and remember, in the world of politics, reality is often stranger than fiction.